Hi Scorpio, happy birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your November 2024 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as over in front of us, the Celtic Cross spread as always. And I also pulled the 4 agreements and wisdom the oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off my roll notes as all the items we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Venus. So Venus is actually going to be in Sagittarius for the first couple of weeks of November, and then it's going to move into Capricorn. So it'll be moving from your second house of possession, self-worth, and finances to your third house of communication, short journeys, and siblings. And speaking of the third house, we also see that came up in the dice here. So yeah, third house for you guys is Capricorn, like I mentioned, and of course around the 20th or so of November, your ruler, which is Pluto, is actually going to be moving out of Capricorn for good. And so you might feel a shift there as far as communication goes. Maybe that'll help lighten things up for you guys a bit. And we have Scorpio. So there you go. I mean, makes sense. We're going to be in Scorpio season for the first few weeks of the month. So makes sense to see your energy pop up here in the dice as well. And I also see some Scorpio energy in your main spread as well. And as far as energies moving through Scorpio, of course, we're going to have the new moon in there right around the first of the month. But yeah, other than that, I mean, most of the other planets have already moved through there. But obviously, we'll see that this will have a focus on you guys this month. But we'll get started with the main spread. All right, in the main situation position, we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. Get that to focus. Here we go. And then challenging that, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. So I can see this playing out in a couple of different ways. For one, it could just be pointing to a timeline, which is to say that when we get to Sagittarius season, so closer to the end of November, you might be feeling like you're more in balance, more in control with things. And it could just be saying the challenges you might need to get through that full moon in Taurus energy. So that full moon in Taurus is going to be right around the middle of November. So yeah, it could just be saying that the first half of the month you might feel like you're a little bit more restricted, like you can't necessarily get things off the ground the way you might like to. And then as we approach the end, the second half of November, you're going to feel the energy lighten quite a bit. But yeah, so beyond just that timeline, even if it's not pointing to those specific timelines, this could just be saying that maybe you've been experimenting with things a little bit, right? Maybe you've been going off of the beaten path, maybe going against things that you normally would have had hesitancy to believe. And it could just be saying that the challenge there is, maybe you were raised in a very structured, rigid type of environment, and these new beliefs that you're experimenting with could be going against them in some way. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here. And yeah, to me, this says that ultimately, through this experimenting that you've been doing, it seems like it's been bringing you happiness, right? So of course, there'd be resistance to going back to the old way if the new way seems to be bringing you success in that manner. All right, in the past position, we have the Sun. So yeah, for some of you, this might feel like a return to when you were young, right? So maybe when you were young, you did have more of a risk-taking type of energy about you, right? Maybe you were more optimistic, maybe a little less structured and rigid in the past, and maybe you find yourself coming back into that energy now and feeling a lot more re-energized in the process. All right, in the present position, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, so given that that new moon is going to be in your sign right at the start of November, makes sense to see this come up because it could just be saying that with that energy coming through, you might get some sudden insights around things, right? So like I said, maybe as you've been experimenting with things, maybe doing things a little bit differently than you normally have, and finding that you're seeing some positive results there, maybe that's bringing you an epiphany, like, okay, maybe there's other things that I should have been experimenting with a little bit more as well. In the near future position, we have Death. So this is actually the major arcana card for your sign. So it makes sense to see it come up there. And then when I see this, I also think of how this figure here makes me think of the Hierophant, right? So which we see in a challenge position. So yeah, it could just be saying that again, like I said, if there were ever some rigid, structured, limiting beliefs that you might have been held back by in the past, it looks like you're just leaving that behind at this time, or will be soon. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Page of Wands. So yeah, so to me, this looks like this is just a bright, vibrant, youthful, risk-taking type of energy, right? Which to me says that you're just willing to go out and explore, right? So instead of just limiting yourself by saying, oh, okay, well, I was told this, that, and the other about this thing, so I'm not going to try it for myself. I feel like this is saying that now you're actually being a little bit more hands-on and proactive and figuring these things out for yourself. Right. In the environment position, we have the Six of Wands. So yeah, so whatever the situation is, it looks like it's going to be getting you some positive recognition in some way. So for somebody, this could even be a career thing, right? So for example, maybe you're in this company where they have a very rigid, structured environment, right? And maybe even trying to do things a bit more experimentally within that environment, and maybe it's been getting positive results that people around you can see, right? Like, oh, okay, this person, by thinking outside of the box, maybe they're actually helping us grow. So looks like there could be some positive impact there. So for a lot of you, it feels a bit more personal than just, oh, this is something I'm doing at my job, but that could be at least one way it's playing out, given that this Leo energy points to your career house. Right. In the hopes for fears position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, for some of you, maybe this is as simple as maybe you're stepping out into your own in some way, right? So for example, again, going back to a career scenario, maybe you've been in a more traditional career path, right? And maybe it's brought you success, but you might have felt like emotionally you're not feeling the connection to it, right? So maybe you're trying to find a way to balance the two, right? Where like, okay, I still want to be present in this environment, but I also want to strike out and do my own thing to give me some emotional fulfillment. And you're just trying to strike that balance. Right. In the outcome position, we have the Six of Cups. So this is actually another Scorpio energy here. And usually this does point to reconciliations, with people from your past. So whether it be family, friends, whoever, right, romantic partners. So for some of you, it could be pointing to that, right, saying that, okay, as you've gone out and explored, maybe it's helping you look at your past a little bit differently and want to reconnect with that in some way. But for some of you, this could even just be pointing to extending forgiveness to yourself, right? So like I said, if you feel like, oh, okay, I held on to these limiting beliefs for so long and they've kept me in this box, and now as I step out of that, you might almost look back like, man, I regret not doing this sooner, right? So if that's the case, I feel like this is saying that rather than being hard on yourselves about it, you'll extend yourself that grace. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess. So yeah, to me, this shows that this is something that you gave a lot of thought to initially, right? So even now, if people on the outside looking in might see it as you're, being a lot more risk-taking, I feel like this is saying that this is something that you really gave a lot of thought to, really tried to tap in intuitively and figure out what the best way forward was, and then looks like this month you're just acting on it. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have don't take anything personally, and it says your truth is personal to you. All right, it says your own opinions and point of view reflect your own agreements and are personal to you. It is no one's truth but yours. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, right? Because like we said, maybe in some ways this represents you stepping off the beaten path and doing things a little bit differently than you've normally done them, right? And maybe if that's just surprising people in your environment, it could just be saying, well, your path is meant for you and no one else, right? So whether they question it, looks like really for the most part you will have a supportive environment, but even if there are some people that might be naysayers are just saying, well, you got to do what's best for you. All right, from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Here and Now. There's the artwork, and the number is 32. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says being fully present in a moment, living one day at a time. The Oracle's message: everything happens in the now, in the present. Only this moment counts. You have what it takes to handle anything today if you let go of the need to look into the future or reflect on the past. Be present and notice what is going on right now. This very moment has the potential for you to create miracles in your life. So yeah, so definitely a positive message there, right? Maybe this is pointing to a departure from maybe you have always planned everything out very exact, right? Like, oh, I have to do this for X amount of time to reach this goal, and once I do this goal, I'm gonna set aside some money here for this and that, right? You could just be saying you might have a very structured way of doing things where you're always planning out into the future to where it was taking your joy away in the present. So it could just be saying maybe you're loosening up on that a little bit at this time. All right, the relationship message says it's easy to yearn for a love affair or friendship you may not have right now, one that is more romantic, more fun, more reliable, more passionate. The good old days are gone and a new day has dawned. Let your heart trust that you have everything you need right now, whether you are in the relationship you desire or not. Tomorrow is beyond your reach. Yesterday cannot return. The now is all that is available to you. Stay present and aware that in this moment, as you cherish and approve of your beautiful self, you are a magnet for love. Spirit is madly in love with you right now. Did you know that? Turn to Spirit to feel the joy of love in the here and now. So yeah, definitely a positive message there as well. Like I said, this scene, for some of you, I could see it going somewhat in a career direction, especially once we saw the 10th house energy. But even beyond that, I feel like this is a lot more of a personal thing for you guys that could impact multiple areas of your life. But for those of you who are looking for guidance on relationships, hopefully that resonated. The prosperity message says what you are working on is golden, and your efforts will leave a powerful legacy. Focus not on meeting a goal in a far off future, but on creating your dream now, releasing your desire for an outcome, and owning that it already exists. It will appear in the material world as if by magic. Claim your prosperity now. The essence is more important than the form. When you are immersed in prosperous thoughts, you automatically tune in to a sense of timelessness and unlimited potential. You can act as if, in spite of the temporary outer conditions, you are prosperous at this moment. What you think now becomes a reality. Stay present. So yeah, again, definitely a positive message there. Yeah, like I said, this looks like for some of you guys, this is going to come through as a bit of an epiphany, but like I said, it does seem like at the very least you've thought this through in the past, but now the how to do it might come to you quite suddenly. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there. Once again, happy birthday, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.